Alright, welcome to the Ourcraft Podcast. I'm your host, Comrade. I'm here today with both Dream Thief and Jub have shown up on time. I know, that's rare, but here they are. I'm the one who was
I thought the world was going to implode.
I had to take poor Chi outside before the stream, and it was already like 7 when I got in, and I just started my coffee after I got in, so like, I'm the reason that we got started so late. I'm gonna go ahead and transition on over to the live screen, the Minecraft screen. And apparently there's been an update. What were you gonna say?
I was just saying, any odd comments, if anybody actually watches this from start to finish, come from the fact that I'm playing a different game.
Yes, he's not playing Minecraft. He is playing, what is it called? Railroad Online?
Railroads Online.
Railroads Online. I missed an S. Which is apparently a 3D first-person track-laying game in which you have to lay all the track for your Steam empire yourself. Is that correct? Did I misrepresent it?
It's like a train driving sim mixed with a model railroading sim.
All right.
I think if you're only into train sim, it's actually not really going to be the game for you because of that. Because people who only like train sims generally do not like having to lay track. And when you load into the map for the first time, there is an engine and a freight car sitting there, but that's they're on the only track in the game.
Got it. So apparently there's been some sort of update. They've added a globe pattern design.
They're also supposedly supposed to have finally fixed the boat problem and the entity disappearing when it crosses a chunk.
A huge amount of bug fixes and parity changes. New experimental features with frogs and tadpoles, so the frogs have been added into the game. I've heard that at one point the frogs were eating goats. But I want to.
I'm gonna be 100 with you. I didn't see that one coming.
I've heard that got patched out already before it went live, but
what a pity.
If you watch your frog eat a goat, I guess that bug is still in. where the frog sees the goat as the insects. That should be coming relatively soon, I guess, if the frogs are already being added.
The frogs are only a small part of the wild update, though.
Yeah, but if we're adding the frogs, we'll probably be adding insects in pretty fast. I don't know if those will just be like
right, but they're not in the
things.
main game. They're in the beta testing thing.
Oh yeah.
Frogs aren't actually in the game. You're not going to be able to go out and find a frog right now, bud.
Oh well, now I'm just sad.
If that's what your plan for the stream was tonight, you're going to be super disappointed.
No, wasn't my plan for the stream tonight.
My plan for the stream was to recreate all of Finland.
It's just a snow block.
Why Finland? Sweden has the furniture.
Come on, I don't think my joke was that bad. You had to ignore it.
You made a joke?
Yeah, he said he was going to recreate all of Finland, and I said us, just a snow block.
I suppose it was the snow block of the Eastern Bloc.
He tried. Someone has sent me a message.
I have been working on the same couple miles of track forever and ever.
Whoa, whoa, oh, we're in. We are in. So as you can see, I worked a little bit more on the mansion. It's not that much more. I just sort of closed it off and put torches everywhere to keep monsters from spawning. But we're also not working on this today. We are going to finish up the cathedral today.
Whoops, almost fell off this bridge from
I'll be right back. Let's see what's going on here.
That'd be fun.
Okay.
Falling off of bridges is highly recommended when you can't get back on them.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. Okay.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Well, if you figured, you should have listened to it. But here we are. I've got to tell you. Okay, let's grab some... Wow. Am I really out of gunpowder?
You know, if the early access version had some of the more interesting locomotives, I wouldn't be having to try and develop a route that the largest engines can go on. But since the more venerable, useful engines haven't been added yet, this railroad has to be ridiculously smooth for the kind of terrain it's supposed to be covering.
Alright.
I've got a sneaking suspicion they're going to delete our worlds at a certain point, though.
Why do you have that suspicion? Can't
One,
be
it's my curse.
Can't be from some sort of past trauma that you have about that. That doesn't exist. Like birds.
Because it's early access, there's a really good chance that they make a major update that breaks the current save files. Hydroneer did that to me. Well, they almost did. Hydroneer ended up backtracking a little bit on that. Although the new Your World still isn't optimized until you switch over to a new game.
Speaking of things getting deleted when they cross borders, you know those like striders that I had in my another byway?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they deleted themselves.
Well, that issue should be fixed now, although they've claimed that at least twice before.
Are you saying that you don't trust them?
You know, I was not at all disappointed that I switched to Java, and part of it was just how bad that bug had gotten. I was like, man, it's not, even if I wanted to build new farms,
eventually
in the colony,
your character's just going to get deleted from crossing too many chunks.
Well, I'm like, man, even if I wanted to build a new iron farm or something in the colony, there's no point. Because I can't tell where the chunk border is.
For some reason, the server lag's a bit harsher today than it normally is.
Hey, guess what you can do in Java? Tell where the chunk border is. Just saying.
Yeah, but, like, does that fix the bug or just help with the bug?
Java never had the bug, but even if you did have the bug in Java, you could fix it by not building your farms or your animal storage.
I will say that the boat
borders.
problem does seem to be fixed. But I've only gone down one boat, so We'll have to see.
I saw a lot of people posting online about it being fixed, so it should be fixed.
That being said, the server lag is so bad, I'm just coming to complete stops
I
without
also
any
saw
warning.
people saying that the servers were laggy quite a bit.
Well, that might just be from a lot of people coming on to check out the frogs.
They wouldn't be in the realms, though. You can't do that from realms. Not unless your realm has the update stuff enabled, which is not exactly safe. Also, I have made an update to the realm.
Oh.
I have turned on... So, one of the updates the game got was the ability to adjust realm settings, which hitherto you had not been able to do.
Okay.
So that instant respawn thing I was talking about, potentially taking the server off of the realm and putting it back on to turn on, is now on.
Ah.
If you die while you're AFK, you will respawn wherever your last spawn point was, and you won't lose all your stuff on the ground because the thing is still loaded on you.
Neat.
At least I believe that's what it does. I haven't tested it yet, technically.
It's not letting me in.
You might be about to lose all your progress, comrade. If the server's already crashing out.
No, it won't. It says outdated client.
Oh,
you haven't updated yet.
You haven't updated. Mine updated
I'm trying,
automatically.
but it's not registering that it's not registering that there is an update for me to get. And when it says check in store, it's directing me to rebuy Minecraft.
Oh yeah, there was a bug where you have to rebuy Minecraft and they're not going to fix it because it makes them money. No, I'm kidding. I don't think that's true. But these are
If
also
it is,
the
I'm not
people
playing
who
Minecraft.
made the marketplace. So they looked at Java and all the free mods and and maps and everything else. And they said, let's not let people do that. And Jeb said it was so.
Jeb?
He didn't go to bat for us with Microsoft. He let it happen. It's his fault now.
How on earth would he go to bat to Microsoft?
The lead creator of the biggest game in the world. I believe he could have fought for us. Chose not to. Although
I thought Notch was the creator.
When he sold it, Jeb was already pretty much in charge of everything at that point anyway. He handed most of the stuff over to Jeb long before he left.
All right.
I have had it pointed out to me though that almost all of Minecraft's creators play Java, which kind of explains just a teeny bit why Bedrock seems to have bugs that go on forever and Java usually does not. Which is not fair, and I'm not saying that that's a good thing, even though Java is better. It's especially not fair because there are people that just can't run
Could you imagine being
anything
a
else.
Bedrock only kind of person? Kind of guy.
I don't know how I lived like that.
Man, Bedrock onlys, they're so awful. They don't know what they're missing out on.
Bedrock only.
I'm gonna go through the screen. I am going to hurt you.
You realize, like, I'm a Bedrock only kind of guy.
Yeah, That's why I just said I was going to go through the screen towards you, but like I'm gonna physically hurt Dream Thief.
Yeah, like you physically hurt the country by voting for Biden.
That's just an attack on a
Bedrock
man's
Player's
character.
fault.
You lie about me one more time in that way, and it's gonna be
Bedrock
friendship
starts
ended with Mudasar. Like that's what it's gonna be.
Bedrock starts with a B. Biden starts with a B. I'm not working for Big Foil or anything, I promise.
The big foil conspiracy.
I am right.
1, 2.
They may not start them all, but they certainly encourage them.
I didn't say you were wrong.
I heard it in the tone of your voice.
Okay, it says the Microsoft Store is updating.
Yes, you cannot update Minecraft until that's updated.
1, 2.
Isn't that fun?
3.
How they make that work against you?
Cool, but like that's updated, and now if I go down here to updates,
It's still not going to work.
no updates currently available.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again?
No, Dream Thief, I have not tried that.
Well, there's your problem.
That sound that you may or may not have heard of me cycling the power on my Xbox was in fact in your imagination.
You realize no one can hear that, right?
Yeah, no, that didn't come
No, I
through.
don't realize that.
Yeah, that didn't come through. Sorry.
Good.
I've never heard your controller inputs. I've never heard anything.
Comrade has.
Have I?
You mentioned you mentioned the other day when I was running through the tunnel. She said, "What the heck is that noise?" And that's the clicking noise of me rapidly mashing a button on my controller.
Oh. I suppose I have.
Minecraft 2 unconfirmed. Buddy, Bedrock is Minecraft 2. It
But
says
it's
I'm
not
on
good
version
enough to be an
1.18.2.
electrical-
What version are you guys on?
That sounds the same. I don't know.
Unlocked 99.
Oh, piece of garbage. I know how to play the game. I totally do. Just not doing it right on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. I understand that when it says outdated client, that means the client is outdated. Now, how do I fix it?
Alt F4.
It's a
I
Xbox
am
for
on
starters.
Deleting system.
It's an Xbox for starters. I'm not sure what you're.
Did you hear?
And add on.
So you remember? Was it like the Xbox 360 or the original Xbox that had the red circle of doom?
Yeah, the red ring of doom.
Yeah. Did you hear that they figured out years later why it did that? And then fixed it for the Xbox 360.
Neat.
Yeah, apparently. One of the, what do you call it?
This is a 6% grade? Oh no, I'm not going to be able to get up here with the class 70.
One of the, what do you call them? one of the connections to the motherboard. It was the shoot, I'm not gonna remember. It was one of the connections to the motherboard would turn itself, or would snap if it was repeatedly turned hot and then cold. But you didn't have to do it in like rapid succession. It could take years to work itself loose. Which essentially means from using the game system, you were breaking the game system. Because they used cheap soldering in the original Xbox.
Surprise! Companies trying to cut corners to save money. This is not a good idea, but I don't have a choice. There's no other way to get up to the iron mine. I only have one engine that can clear 6% with any meaningful load. Sorry, I can't be more help, Jub. I'm not familiar with the issue.
Well, I'm pretty sure I've fixed something very similar on my PC, but, you know, PC versus Xbox kind of different.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is gonna be.
Please don't go into the. So I click on an article that says Minecraft could not connect, outdated server error while connecting to Realm. And so I click on it thinking it's going to be helpful, and it starts with Minecraft is definitely one of the greatest video games of all time, featuring virtually endless terrain using procedural generation. The sandbox game is developed by Mojang Studios. Back in 2014, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. I'm gonna. Whew.
Gonna be a heck of a ride to get a train on this.
You're just looking for solutions, and all they want to give you is the company spiel.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to use a gear train engine to get up to the iron mine, and don't think there's any other engine.
And that's a fix if I'm on Java. Good to know.
Don't do that. It might delete your world. You know, using the wrong thing, like Minecraft likes to make you do.
He's not
Or like
salty.
Microsoft does.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. It's risky, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
You turn it off and turn it on again?
No, I'm gonna uninstall Minecraft and reinstall it.
You don't have any worlds native to that system, do you?
Oh, I have 3 that I have not played in I mean, that one I made in 2020.
You could lose
It's
those worlds.
5 megabytes. I'm gonna need you to think long and hard about what I just said. That world was created in 2020,
Yeah.
and it's 5 megabytes.
Okay. You might
Does
have
it
not left
sound
you
like
might
I
not
care?
have left spawn.
Does it sound like I care about that world?
No, just whatever. I just wanted to be the bearer of information.
All right. Just wanted to be the bearer of information.
Yeah.
That's a job title now.
Better than gender studies major.
That's not a study.
Oh, that depends.
Neither is most of what goes on in colleges.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This line is okay to go down the mountain with. I just not. Man, there's got to be a better route up. It's a problem with an early access game. You don't have all of the tools that you would if the game was at full release.
True.
Still worth buying, though. It's such a good game.
He is still talking about the Railroads Online thing, by the way, in case people were confused. But Minecraft's probably worth...
Minecraft is updating.
Oh, the man's done it!
Day-o. Day-o. Daylight come and me wanna go home.
Now, careful. Some people may accuse you of racism.
Based on the conversations we've had in this group, some people might be right. Not that
Well,
we're
you heard it
racist,
here.
but some of the humor that has been tossed around here.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Dream Thief's a racist. I can't be
Did it
racist.
himself.
Can't be racist. I'm a hard link construct. I'm the most minor of
Oh, were
minorities.
you not here for that?
Guess not.
Yes.
We were expanding channel lore.
There was some joke that a comrade made, and I think like he had to step away to the restroom or something,
Yes, probably.
and he forgot to turn off his webcam, so they see him just kind of scuttle away out of the room and then jog back in. It's like, don't worry, all of that was fake. He's a hard light construct. He just does that to appear more human.
I see.
Much
So,
like
that's
I
part of the lore now.
randomly shut off sometimes, just for fun, kicks, giggles. Definitely to fit in better. I mean, I don't need to fit in better. Why would I need to fit in better?
It's definitely not incompetence. Supercomputer can't be incompetent.
To suggest such would be treason.
Or it would be if, the computer was secretly leader of the world.
Which it isn't. Well, that would be crazy.
And to suggest as such is treason.
Alright, this is the waterfall I wanted to run over the top of.
Okay. I was watching a lot of David Attenborough today. I don't know why, other than the fact that he's very educational, but YouTube decided to feed me a lot of David Attenborough, and I decided it was worth watching. So I have spent my day being educated while playing League of Legends, which is rare.
So you're expanding your mind while shrinking your mind.
Yes. But hey, at least unlike Dota, there's not a huge amount of racism in League of Legends. Just a lot of salt.
I lost focus there for like a quarter of a second. How did that sentence start?
It started with me saying, unlike Dota, there's not a lot of racism in League of Legends.
Yeah, okay. Well, then what was the thought immediately preceding that one? Was that in response to what I said about shrinking your mind?
Probably.
What do you mean, probably? It happened like 12 seconds ago.
Well, then I guess, yes, that would be the case. I don't know. I didn't keep track of this conversation any more than you did, apparently. Neither of us cared.
Y'all are very successful holding this conversation down.
Let me just throw out this prompt for the conversation that I don't particularly care about. Hopefully someone will. And now we're both just kind of saying things at each other and it's not working. Fortunately, I do have a couple of things that I do want to talk about over the course of the stream.
Is one of them the comedian who passed out on stage this week?
You're only hearing about that now?
No, I heard about
the
it.
News.
I haven't. I'm
half
just hearing about that right this second.
Oh. Yeah, so she was making a joke about how since she's been triple vaxxed and went on a bunch of trips and never got COVID, Jesus loves her more. Proceeded to have a seizure for the first time in her life and pass out on stage, hitting her head pretty good.
I'm not going to say deserved. But what I am going to say is what exactly am I going to say?
Some people think that it was a publicity stunt, but if you actually listen, she does begin slurring her words, which would indicate it's very real. Oh, shoot. Ow.
Who or what are you shooting?
Myself at a wall repeatedly until I get
No.
into the room that I want to be in.
Comrade. There's no need to hurt yourself.
I mean,
Jeb will do it for you if you give him about 45 minutes to 2 hours of driving time.
That's very specific.
I don't actually know how far he is from you. Oh, we're...
something like
Where's
an hour,
Doxing?
maybe?
It is an hour.
Doxing everyone.
You were surprisingly not that far off for not trying to dox us. Okay.
It's like I invented doxycycline or something.
Psych.
It's a medicine. That was funny.
No.
Yes, it was quite funny.
This?
It is funny, yes.
This is funny, haha.
Anyway, no, that comedian pulling what I can only assume is a Herod the Great impression is, That wasn't Herod the Great, was it?
It wasn't, but I was gonna laugh. Let you have it.
No, but it was Herod. It was one of the Herods. Was it
Herod the
Herod the
Tetrarch.
Great's son?
Yeah, one of his 4 sons named Herod. The man was an
Darn it,
egomaniac who named 4 different kids Herod. And then killed 2
Like
of them.
George Foreman? Well, that's a bit unlike George Foreman,
So-
but like the first bit,
so
like George
Not
Foreman.
like George Foreman.
But no, seriously, I forget how many kids George Foreman has, but I think it's 5.
Are they all named George
He named
Foreman,
all of them
though?
George Foreman except he named all of them George Foreman except his daughter, whose name's Georgette Foreman. I'm going to look this up so I get the numbers accurate. George Foreman kids is the first thing that I get to Google. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no, what?
Where does it talk about kids? That was like there. Amateur accomplishments, professional career, title.
What were we saying oh no
It was like
about?
the title. Hold on. Apparently, he became a Christian after a near-death experience with some heat stroke.
Which one of the George Foremans?
The first one.
George
Okay, okay.
Foreman the first?
Yes. All right. George Foreman has 12 children, 5 sons and 7 daughters. His 5 sons are named George Jr., George the Third, George the Fourth, George the Fifth, George the Sixth. What? Yeah. On his website, I named all my sons George Edward Foreman, so they would have something in common. His 7 his 7 daughters are differently named. Natalia, Leola, Frida, Michi, Michi, Georgetta, Isabella, and Courtney. Apparently, one of his daughters became a pro boxer.
Good for her.
No, she had a 5-1 record.
You know, at least he didn't name his son Sue.
What?
Oh, come on. There's no way
At least
that...
he didn't name
I know what
his
you're talking about.
son.
I'm just not giving it to you.
What are you talking? I missed what he said.
I said at least he didn't name his son Sue.
Sue.
Boy named Sue.
I don't know country music, and I know that one.
Sue Foreman. I don't get it.
You are just fine the way you are, Job. Please don't get it. Even I, who love country music, don't really particularly care for that song.
It's the only country song worth listening to.
That is not true, actually. 100% something more wholesome, like Country Bumpkin or something.
How is Boy Named Sue not wholesome? It's the story of a lad who goes out to meet his father and reconciles.
He goes
with
out
his
to
dad.
kill his father.
He reconciles with his father, and decides not to name his son Sue, because why in the world would you name your son Sue? He does kill his dad in the end, by the way, too.
He doesn't. Misinformation out here.
Yeah, but he's never seen it, so I can tell him anything I want.
Not while the other guy who's listened to it is still here.
Well, I could have if you let me. You stopped an amazing gaslighting moment. You stopped an amazing moment to gaslight him.
All I'm hearing is that Comrade wants to be a liar now.
What? No.
I am so confused.
Well, he thought about being a harp, but it just wasn't good enough for him.
Ooh, speaking of liars, have you guys heard lyre birds?
I've heard of the kookaburra.
What on earth is going on here?
So if you take
Why can I open
if you take a
Minecraft
mockingbird,
without Minecraft being installed?
if you take a mockingbird and then you mix it with a peacock, that's a lyre bird. But they can mimic anything, not just other birds. Like, there's video of them perfectly mimicking chainsaws.
That's not right. It's just not okay.
Okay. Out.
Out, spots, out.
I'm gonna be right back.
Thought I'd
I landed.
raise the IQ of this and the quality of this stream with a Shakespearean reference.
Thank you. Your contributions will not be forgotten.
I'm sure they'll be just as beloved as Shakespeare's contributions.
We're hated if you're Jub.
That's what I was going for, but
Shakespeare can't catch a break when Jub analyzes his work.
Jub stepped away, bud.
Yeah, no. Perfect time to bash him.
I suppose you're not wrong.
Now hold on, what did he say?
Don't worry about it.
No,
Why are you worried about it, man? Don't you trust us?
No.
Not even me, little old me?
You are now covering
Listen,
for me.
there are things that I trust Comrade on. Like, I went to him with a passage from Hebrews, and I was like, it doesn't mean this, right? And he's like, no, it doesn't mean that. You're dumb.
I didn't
And I
say
trust
that.
I mean, you basically said that. But
Doesn't sound
And I
like
trust
something
him
you
on
would
that.
say at all.
really. Anyway, point being, I trust him on that. I don't trust him on like 90% of other topics. So what did he say?
Let's see. I
Actually,
said that
forget now.
Shakespeare can't catch a break while you're on his case.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Shakespeare doesn't deserve a break. His writing sucks.
You're not wrong.
What in the world? My dogs are barking. My nether is shrieking.
Storms.
No. She's
It's
just,
a bit windy here, but it's not a storm.
she's just a barking. Presumably because she wants out, despite the fact I did take her out before I, got to the stream.
I see.
But the nether also screamed at me, which was really nice. I love it when it just randomly decides to scream at you. I love how you can't use the nether wood to make boats.
Boats are match the color of the wood that they're made with, so it makes sense that that's not the case.
Why would it be a problem if you could get blue boats?
Because then then Mojang would have to code something.
Yeah, but they coded, like, doors and stuff.
Yeah, they also coded something that caused every entity in the game that you wanted to keep to spawn for almost a year.
And now they're making it impossible for me to play their stupid game.
The one time a month you actually want to play, you can't even play.
It's the one time in a week.
You do not play every week. Get out of here. Groundworks.
Oh, I hit that pretty fast. I'll go see what the dog's doing here after I, What the
So
dog
your
doing?
stream
dog
doesn't
doing?
get on you for ignoring your dog. people in streams always love the animals. What's not to love about animals? Animals are the best. You're such a good girl.
Did I mess up?
Hey, listen, there are certain dogs that I prefer to just about every human I've ever met.
Okay, that's pretty funny. I'm watching flat lava textures just fall down. Okay. There we go. Shouldn't need to block that off, but we will. Just in case. But yeah, I got to watch some flat lava textures just fall out of the sky. Which I thought was pretty funny. I did mess up. Where did I mess up?
What project are you working on? Comrade?
My eyeball. Oh, I see.
I'm gonna pretend that I know what that is.
It's okay that you don't. I'm making a giant, like, Eye of Sauron kind of deal.
I see. That wasn't meant to be a pun, I'm sorry. I apologize to everyone.
You're alright.
I wasn't trying to send.
One of us. One of us. Actually.
Alright, so it has to be 18 degrees. Okay. I don't like 18-degree curves, but it's better than 25 degrees by a long shot.
Alright, that looks pretty good. Just munch on a cooked pork chop there. And, I guess now it's time to start, lava casting.
You know you can't lava cast towers on Bedrock, right?
I don't want to lava cast towers. I want to lava cast the landscape. Turn it into a barren rock.
Nothing can be as barren as the basalt biome. Change my mind.
Well, I'm I might go get some basalt and put it around.
I hate the basalt biome. The worst biome in the Nether.
I think that the
Ooh.
Nether is the worst biome in the Nether.
I did forget one thing. Well, actually,
I mean, you're probably not wrong on that.
That's quite striking. So I think I'm gonna leave it. Just every other tower has lava pouring out of it except that one. That makes it look interesting and intriguing. It makes you want to go look at it. Alright. Alright, I will just hang out in this house while I go investigate what the dog's doing. So I will position myself with a view of the lava pouring out of my window. And then I am going to go ahead and move to a be right back screen. I'll turn on some background music. I'll mute myself and let you guys continue talking.
can hear my keyboard through his microphone.
Indeed.
while I was gone?
No.
Okay. I just came back at a point when you guys were dead silent.
Yeah, there was just a moment of silence that lasted about. How long were you gone?
About 15 minutes. For a dog who didn't want to go to the bathroom. It was great. Exactly how I wanted to spend those 15 minutes. She's now got her little balcony open.
I had my microphone off because I was singing and didn't want to share. Because I figured it wasn't desired.
I don't know. Joe breaks out into song every time we stream.
I'm so close to getting to the iron mine, and yet
So far away.
so far away from being done.
Especially I know what he was going to say.
I'm not sure that this is a functional route that I spent all night building. It's fine downhill. It's just not going to be great uphill.
There is so much stuff that I have to move over before I terraform this place. There's just so much stuff. Before I do any of that, what I am going to do is tear down this forest.
Mr. Borbafetch, tear down this wall. You all at least know what I'm referencing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Ronald Reagan. Enemy of communists everywhere. Star actor of Hollywood.
Man who managed to finish his presidency after being shot in the head by a rando.
The only president to appear in a film with Shirley Temple. They both
really?
Yeah, they both really hated that film.
Because of each other, or just didn't like the film itself?
I've heard the film's pretty bad.
Oof.
I'm not gonna remember which one it is. He also starred in the same film as a monkey. I'm not gonna remember what that one is. But yeah, I know who Ronald Reagan is. I've wrote papers on him. That makes me sound like a history major, but I just did that in high school. Because when you're homeschooled, you're schooling rocks.
Why would you have to be a history major to write a paper on Ronald Reagan?
To say that I wrote papers on him, it sounds kind of elitist and like, you know, I did that in like a professional setting. Oh. Interesting.
Squeeze me.
I won't. You guys bring coffees today, or am I the only one? Like normal.
I did bring a coffee today.
I'm out of coffee filters.
And that's why we get French presses.
Oof. I mean, No.
but also yes.
But primarily.
Yeah, I know. You devolved back from the French press back to the Aereo press.
Devolved?
Yes.
I didn't devolve back
He went-
from the French press to the Aereo press. I went forward about 20 years of science.
Went back to filters.
These filters cost like a quarter of a penny each.
I believe that's called a halfpenny.
I don't care what it's called.
So does Dream Thieves, and yet here he is without filters.
I don't see the point, but okay.
Point is,
You just like your overly acidic, over-extracted coffee.
no. Because I get a perfect press every time.
My favorite coffee from an AeroPress, but I know mine is better because I have nothing to back up that statement.
Don't bring facts and logic into this, let me mock you.
Let's see.
Don't
Let you
bring
mock
facts
me.
and logic into
Bring
this.
facts into
Let
this.
me mock.
I vote facts, actually.
I know what an Aereo press is. It's probably better coffee, but I've never had it.
It's not an AeroPress, it's an AeroPress.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You don't call...
I'm sorry that
Are you going to start calling it an aeroplane now?
I'm sorry that
That's
the
an excellent question.
English language is stupid and not always phonetic, although it usually is.
What?
I just apologized for the stupidity of the English language. I'm not sure what's controversial here.
I don't know anymore. Just execute him, Job. I don't have time for this.
But I'm right.
I can't. Yeah.
That's
He
That's the
helps
kind-
me understand the Book of Hebrews. I can't execute it.
that's the kind of king I would be. Just be like, I'm too tired for this today. Just kill him. Just be
Yeah,
done.
that's what separates you from Solomon. They walk in and it's like they both claim that this child is theirs. It's like kill them both. I don't care.
Kill them both. I don't care. It's not even the kid. It's just kill both of
What
them.
about the child? Kill him too. Let's be a terrible king all around.
I was about to make the obvious joke where it's like, actually, attempted murder was part of that story. Or almost part of that story.
Oh, well, I'm just an idiot, aren't I?
Well, I wasn't going to say anything.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Since you brought it up.
Oh,
Yes.
listen, I can admit my faults just the same as anybody else. There are not
don't
many
believe
of them.
that.
There are not many of them, but being an idiot is one.
Hey, I'm nowhere near a bed right now.
That's fine. I'll just stay
I'm
here.
with-
I'm currently flying with Elytra.
I don't know how to tell distance IRL, but I know that I'm within 76 feet of my bed. Because that's how long my house is.
I'll just sit here eating my everything bagel and comment
Hold
on
on.
life, the universe, and everything.
Okay, I don't care.
Oh, you're in the middle of playing game, guys.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay. I just needed all their medicines out of the cabinet, but I can wait on Chris to get some.
No, I got it. Just let me
So
get
the
to a position where my character's not.
Okay.
my coffee today was the same coffee I had a couple weeks ago, or last week too, I think. The Giant Steps coffee from the Blue Bottle Coffee Company. Last week, and the last few times I've had it, I've noticed it's a rather bitter coffee, and it also has the unfortunate circumstance of not having. It's a little bit acidic, like not overly acidic, but the aftertaste isn't pleasant. And yet, somehow, I've managed to circumvent that. And this is a rather pleasant cup of still rather bitter coffee, but I like bitter, so. But I added a little bit of salt. Not even like a pinch. Just a little bit of salt to my French press. That helps cut the bitterness. That's an old sailor trick, by the way. Forget where I learned it, but it does work. If you've got a coffee that's got a rather severe aftertaste, just a little bit of salt in your grinds really helps cut into that. I then also brewed it with a little bit of brown sugar. Get that nice molasses flavor, and that really helped to neutralize the acid. Without making it like overly sweet. But it is bitter enough that first sip I had, I was a little bit taken aback by how bitter it was. And before you ask, no, I'm not eating just a straight plain bagel. There is butter on it, but we've got an everything bagel. You only need butter.
I mean, I wasn't going to ask, but okay.
Well, I wasn't talking to you at that point. I was talking to chat because like they can now watch me eat a bagel.
Yes, entertaining. I'm sure.
Of course, people do watch mukbangs for a reason.
I really hate that word.
It is unfortunate. But hey, not every word can, be a winner between languages. There's something else that happened this week that I was planning to talk about, but now I can't remember. So let me look up the news. I'm trying to look up news and there's no news. Oh, okay, here's some news. I know we've talked about this on our Dark Souls stream, but I don't know if you've heard about it, Dream Thief. But a while back, going on 3 weeks now, somebody discovered well, people have known about it a bit longer, but Ubisoft found out that there's there is a hack in Dark Souls. Do you know anything about how the Dark Souls multiplayer works?
No.
Okay, so usually,
outside of being able to leave messages, no.
So usually in Dark Souls, you play by yourself. You can leave messages for other players to like encourage them. You can lie to them. You can give them advice through these messages, that kind of thing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But this is not the most important function of the multiplayer system. Rather, the most important function of the multiplayer system is that you can gain these things called humanity. And when you gain humanity, you can either keep it on your person and gain drop rates and other stat boosts, depending on how many you have. Or you can spend humanity at bonfires to make yourself more human and restore your lost humanity. And you can also, once you've restored your lost humanity, and make yourself look less undead than you did, you can also rekindle bonfire. You can add like extra kindling to bonfires. While you look more human, while you've reversed your hollowing, it's called reversed hollow. You can have friends join your party, essentially. And and so you can have people join your party while you're while you've reversed your hollowing. And but the other thing is, while you've reversed your hollowing, people can invade your game, which means that other players can come in and try to kill you and take some of your stuff. They can like gain humanities and souls this way.
Okay.
Which is the incentive for doing that. However, apparently, it turns out that since launch, they didn't know about this, but since launch, there's been an exploit where you could hack into somebody's PC when you've invaded them. It's literally... The way they made invading was apparently an accidental backdoor into controlling their PC if you did it right.
That's not good.
No. Now hackers and stuff have only known about this for like maybe a year-ish. It's hard to tell exactly how long they've known about this. It's not like it's been a major problem in the game ever. But some guys in the hacking community decided that, it's a bit of a dangerous glitch to have around, so they did try to inform Ubisoft of this. And Ubisoft wasn't listening to them. So they decided they needed to take measures into their own hands and hacked a player while he was live on stream in this fashion to bring it to the public awareness so that Ubisoft would have to listen. And as you know, or I don't know if you do know, but they've got the 4th Dark Souls game coming out pretty soon called Elden Ring. And it was going to run on exactly the same system. Because why would they break something when it works? Or what they thought worked. And so now, literally like a month until launch, last month they had to just close down all the servers to like try to figure out how to like make it work without that hack.
They may just not be able to have the invasions anymore.
Well, no. Supposedly they're going to be coming back online, but because of the situation and stuff, they're just not bringing any of them on until Elden Ring goes live. And then everything should be back up and running. But it's been a bit interesting playing Dark Souls in the midst of that. Like, you can still play it offline. It's a bit of a different experience. They're around the same, but like it's a little bit different. Because you normally play the game on your own anyway, right? But like now you don't get any of the messages because everything's down and offline.
Oh, even the messages had to be taken off.
Yeah, because they're part of the server and they just closed down the whole server.
It was a pretty intensive process, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, it'll come back online the day Elden Ring drops, as their plan. Just bring everything online at the same time. Which is why I got to talking about that again.
Hey, Conrad, what are the coordinates of your cathedral thing?
I mean, there's literally another highway to it.
Yeah, but I don't know where that starts. So what's the coordinates?
Give me a moment. I'm not exactly there at the moment. I'm like a little bit off, so if I give you my chords, you're gonna find yourself pretty off.
Fine, then I'm just gonna stand on top of this mountain.
Alright. Here we go. Here's some chords that you won't get super lost with. 39240 on the X and 1052 on the Z.
All right.
Okay. Back to chopping down some dark oak. I can't remember, but I think Sekiro and Bloodborne used the same system too.
I don't think invasions in Sekiro are a thing.
Okay, but they are in Bloodborne, right?
Maybe? Yes.
But yeah, so like all the games in that kind of line just had to be like shut down for a while.
At least somebody finally made him see sense. It's like you hate to be that guy that's going to cause that kind of panic in someone, but it's going to be a lot more than one person if you don't out the game company for not fixing it.
Yeah.
Where's the dark oak forest so dark?
It's in the name.
I'm not going to deign to answer that with a response.
I got one of you to answer.
Emma. My bed is still left on your roof.
Yes.
Did you just instantly
Why?
on there?
Because I haven't moved it yet.
No, I flew over the Healthedral and I went, he has not moved that bed yet. I know he's found it. He commented on it.
Yeah, but why would I touch it? I don't need to yet.
Because it's a bed on your roof that you didn't put there?
I seem to think this is
I mean, I would think that's concerning.
Well, it
Apparently,
would
you
be.
would think wrong.
It might be if I was a different person. But, hey, you do you. If you want to sleep on random people's roofs, you will be the best hobo you can be.
Fiedler on the roof.
Tradition.
Such a good movie. Ow. I just cracked my neck.
Okay. Back to my house. You'll be happy to know, Jub, that I finished Peach Boy Riverside last night when I should have been going to bed.
Yes.
And that's the story of how I stayed up until 2 in the morning. I have to say, it got rather dumb at one point.
Oh, really? Because I have notes.
Yes. The point when whatever his name is said, I was really angry at him because, you know, he killed this my friend right in front of me. And if I didn't attack him, where would that have left my anger? And then she replies, well, that's very inconvenient. Was the moment I knew that despite trying to tackle such complicated topics, we weren't going to seriously tackle such complicated topics.
Oh, you realized that about then?
Well,
Not when she solved elf lizard racism in like 0.3 seconds.
well, listen.
Not when she
No,
went up to the mass murderer and
Hey.
you're fine because I like you.
The elf lizard racism bit was handled quickly, but it wasn't hand waved away. It was just handled very quickly.
It was hand waved.
Not
the elf literally says, "Yeah, I was planning to kill all of you," and then they banded together to save their own lives one time, and all of that is immediately forgiven. Like, if somebody says, hey, I was literally trying to kill you, and then I'm forced to work with them over the course of an hour to protect my own life,
granted,
I'm not going to forget
I will grant you that that is also sloppy writing. That is also sloppy writing. It is not nearly as bad as... Well, that's very inconvenient.
Well, I mean, that person murdered a friend of yours right in front of you, and you felt the need to, you know, defend your own life subsequently? That's very inconvenient.
Meanwhile...
Or that...
Wait. Now, listen. Yes. Alright. Yes, it is true that, saying, we banded together once, that means we're friends forever, is also sloppy writing, but it is not nearly as sloppy. It's not nearly as sloppy of a writing.
It's like she completely ignored all of the actual events and just went, why can't we all just get along? Because murder. That's why. It's a little difficult to just kind of bounce back from that.
Speaking of sloppy writing, we saved somebody just to kill them 3 seconds later. Like, it's... Alright.
Oh, yeah, that's it here.
No,
that's over here.
If
at the end.
If that was done to sort of juxtapose the rest of the anime with, like, this guy that you thought you could trust all of a sudden just kills this kid, that would be interesting writing.
I'm sorry, at what point did anyone think we could trust this guy?
But we've never seen anything that encourages us to trust this guy, except for the fact that he claims that he wants ogre human,
coexistence?
Coexistence.
Are we forgetting
and then
the
he
fact
smiles
that, like,
creepily every time.
Are we forgetting the fact that when he was first introduced, a small child runs up to him and hands him a flower, and he's like, that's nice, go on and play. Or it was like a roll or something, or cookie. And then she runs off around a corner, we hear a crunching sound, and then a demon covered in blood steps around that corner, and he's like, I really wish you wouldn't just, you know, kill all of my people. What do you want? Like it was an inconvenience.
It was an inconvenience.
Yeah, I mean,
That doesn't inspire trust.
It does not inspire trust. Which is why him then stabbing the person that he just kills for no reason. Like, he literally just kills one of his own for no reason. Other than, I guess, to signify to you that he can't be trusted, but we already knew he can't be trusted. Because, you know, he's never done anything that makes you want to trust him. I guess it just cements the fact he can't be trusted, but in doing so, we also ruined an interesting character dynamic. It was like, it's one of only two interesting character dynamics the character called Carrot had. And we just ended it.
I'm trying to remember exactly where it was, but like, it's directly after the bit with the tree ogre where not Peach Boy, Mikoto.
Mm-hmm.
He kills the mask ogre, or quote unquote kills, and then he squares off against the priest, and the priest is like, "Hey, let's talk." And I'm like, why on earth would you think that he would be willing to talk? And then he's willing to talk, and then it just smash cuts to him later, and he's like, why are you trusting the priest guy? And he's like, I don't trust the priest guy, I trust Sally. And I'm like, are you for the ogre human cohabitation now? Because, like, you flip-flop back on that, like, 3 episodes later.
And then
you are the most inconsistent character ever.
And then he flip-flops back on it, too.
I know!
In the episode immediately after, which he takes his hand. He's like, why would you do this? You're supposed to take his hand. I mean, the ogre nobody can trust?
Yeah, that was weird.
It's not even a question of, like, is he slightly trustworthy? Is there a glimmer of good person in him? Because I see nothing. There is no redeeming qualities in this person.
Exactly 0.
Yes.
Anyway, now I can actually finally go through my notes in order. Episode 6.
Well, we should probably explain exactly what we're talking about before we completely lose Dream Thief, although we've probably already done that.
Oh, yeah.
What?
I'm fine.
It's an anime that is loosely based on, although it had promised to be more heavily based on, a Japanese folk tale about a boy who was born from a peach.
Hence why it's called
Peach
Boy Riverside.
Because
in the original story, some people went to a riverside and found a peach, and inside that peach was a boy. We're very utilitarian, the Japanese, with their names.
Yes, his name is Momotaro, which is literally firstborn of the peach.
Anyway, he's not the main character.
He shows up for 1 episode. It is the best episode of the series, and why I decided to watch the series.
Yeah, that's the bit that everyone leads with. The bit that everyone leads with is the flashback episode to Momotaro, and I literally have in my notes when the flashback episode comes up, who are you and why should I care? Followed immediately by, I like this show better. It's like this one. The show that I was promised. But, his shtick is that he goes and he kills ogres. And he's really good at it.
Yes. So basically, I'll put it in Pathfinder / D&D terms for you. Picture Ranger with, like, all the bonuses put into Oni killing.
Okay.
That's
Span makes killing ogres a casual thing. Literally never used a sword before in his life. Cut a 20-foot ogre in half the first time he tried. Man's talented. Anyway, he exterminates ogres.
Turns out that anime was really interesting. That anime was really interesting because, you know, old folklore really knows how to tell stories. Mostly.
I mean, you can make some pretty good stories from old folklore.
Yeah.
You just got to fill in some of the gaps of, and there's like, and then they went here. It's like, okay, well, what did they do from there to there? Flesh out the characters a bit.
What's her name, like, made her living at, basically? She's like a children's author, wrote Ella Enchanted and stuff, but she just basically takes the old Grimm fairy tales and makes novels out of them. Adds like a little twist. It's like Ella Enchanted, it's the Cinderella story, but
yes, I'm familiar.
Yeah,
my sisters watched it.
The movie is awful, and the book is amazing, and the director can... The book
intense that way.
The movie can go die in a hole and leave the really good story with my book, please. And I'm not normally that vehement about books versus novels, or books versus movies. But the Ella Enchanted movie is one of the worst things. Do you remember what the Aragon movie is? To the Aragon books? It's that. It is that. That's what they did to my Ella Enchanted book. And I even like the actress they got for Ella. She's a bit typecast, but they took Ella Enchanted and they turned it into Shrek. And I'm not sure how you take Cinderella and turn it into Shrek, but they did it. They tried their best.
And they succeeded. Thank you. I hate it.
But the twist in Ella Enchanted is that she has two fairy godmothers, and the second one...
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, but Jub's not, I don't think.
Oh.
I don't care.
She's got two fairy godmothers, and the second one's really dumb and cursed her since birth to always listen to people.
That's problematic.
It is very problematic. So, like, the rest of the book is... The book is her trying to figure out how to break that curse.
And hide it at the same time.
Well, yeah. Obviously. You don't want to just blurt out to people, I've got to listen to whatever you tell me.
It really is a stupid premise, though, because she is obviously not going to fix it till marrying age, because has to get the prince. Which means she went through essentially high school, doing absolutely everything she was told. Which is just not something you do to a character.
That's why the book's better, because in the book, she's got a rebellious streak due to her curse. It's clearly played out. So yeah, she does, and it's a finishing school because, you know, actual time period matters in the book.
No, it doesn't.
But like, she'll do everything that the teachers tell her to do perfectly. But she'll hate it the whole time. So they'll tell her to sing, so she sings off key. And then they tell her to go on key, so she sings perfectly on key. But then she sings the wrong song because they hadn't told her what to sing yet. It's a good book, is what I'm trying to say. Don't judge a book by its movie. That should be a t-shirt.
Ain't that the truth? It is.
I know it is.
Cookie Timmy.
That's why I said it.
It's literally a shirt that I saw in a Books A Million once.
Yes, I know it's a pretty mainstream shirt. Bunch of normies.
Shut up. But anyway, that's how you do an adaptation. You take a folklore source material,
Yes.
and you add like a little twist to it, and make it a bit more interesting.
Which
You know, not the exact same thing that we've read a million times before.
which they did or tried to do with Peach Boy Riverside.
No, they didn't.
No, they tried. They tried. Because the question that they ask in Peach Boy Riverside is, what if he wasn't the only Peach that came down the river? What if there are multiple people with these ogre killing abilities, right? Which is an interesting question and should make for an interesting anime because, you know, the source material is so good and it's an interesting question. What if he's not the only person who's good at killing ogres?
Or what if there's like other people that specialize in different types of yokai?
Yes.
Another name for murder.
Yokai is a generic name for monsters. Any kind of monster.
Yokai are lesser spirits. Yokai are like lesser spirits. As opposed to kami, which are greater spirits. Kami can also mean god. So a yokai, for instance, might be like a kitsune or other. It's like a spiritual being, but it's not like super powerful where it can just kill people by a thought. Whereas a kami can literally just kill you by thinking about you.
So, you know, don't irritate the kami.
Right.
You know, kind of like the Cold War. Don't irritate the
Kami-sama.
commies.
Kami-sama. Kami-sama would be translated as the Lord of Spirits. And it's the phrase used, it's the term used to refer to God from the Bible. There you go. That's a Japanese lesson for you.
Yes. But see, like, inherent in that question of it's like, what if he wasn't the only one? It kind of implies, at least to me, logically, that it would be asking about his contemporaries. Not people on the other side of the planet 20 years later. But that's what we get. Is people on the other side of the planet 20 years later.
Yes, because we spend all our time in a European-style society that's dealing with Japanese oni.
Because that makes sense. And they debate you by telling you about this legend of the man born from the peach and all of that. While a male character with that power is on screen fighting ogres, and it's not him. It would be like
It'd be like if Speed Racer opened up with a racer who's not Speed Racer.
Or if during the opening narration of Lord of the Rings, it talked about the Dark Lord with his one ring, and it was in fact just showing Elrond looking at his ring. Yes, that is a man. Yes, that is a ring. Yes, it is a ring of power. It's not what we're talking about. Please ignore it. And so they did that because that kid is apparently the adopted son of the original guy. Don't ask how he got from Japan to Europe. We don't know.
Wow, he was going
He
around.
walked,
Presumably, he walked a great distance in order to kill more Oni. And in case
while wearing what appears to be a modern dress shirt and slacks.
That's fine, though, because we got a character in even weirder clothing.
Yeah. Frau, the rabbit folk.
Hare folk. There is a difference between hares and rabbits.
Yeah, but
no one cares.
We don't
Not
know.
one I care about.
Anyway, Frau, the hare folk, who is not a hare folk.
Yes.
She wears a anime schoolgirl sailor suit type uniform thing.
She's the best character in the show, changed my mind.
No. But anyway, the story starts with him going to a town, and he's just kind of there hanging out. And there's a princess who very much does not want to be a princess, because that plot line has never been used before. There has never been in the history of anime or young adult storytelling a royal character who does not want to be a royal. At this point, I think anything other than that would be deviating from the norm. But then some ogres attack the city, and Mikoto is just like, yes, that would be my cue. And he goes and slaughters them all single-handedly. With this terrifying grin on his face.
That part is done really
And it is. It really makes you wonder if he's just absolutely insane.
He is.
And the answer is yes. But the princess sees that, and for whatever weird reason is like, I want to go with him and travel the world. Because, like, she had wanted to travel before, but, like, specifically with him doesn't make any sense. But then she, like, sees all of the bodies of the ogres and vomits. She basically wakes up a few days later. Then she cuts her hair and decides she's going adventuring. Runs into Frau. Beats up... I'm trying to give you the cliff notes here, but I suspect that you don't care.
You would be correct.
Cool.
There are very few anime that I care about at all, and this is certainly not seeming to be one.
Well, just suffice it to say that her quest is to end racism.
Yes, that is her stated purpose and goal.
She's both really, really good at it and really, really bad at it.
She's good at it because we've sued her.
Yes.
And I'm not using that term lightly. Like, literally when problems arise that are logical and make a lot of sense for people to ask questions about, being like, is it still racist if I hate them on a personal level? Her response is, that's very inconvenient.
Also, she's the most powerful thing in the known universe.
Mm,
You know how big a redwood tree is?
yes.
Multiply that by about 6. Now, imagine a tree that size. Now imagine an ordinary high school to college aged girl punching that tree. How many punches would it take to break the tree?
You have forgotten an important statistic here. She is an anime girl who has been well endowed and is therefore stronger than your average weightlifter.
Okay, comrade. Show me a weightlifter that could break a redwood tree.
Listen,
If you give him brass knuckles.
I said that stronger than your average weightlifter.
If you
I've seen those anime girls,
Hostile
and
Bjornsson.
I've seen those anime girls and the giant swords that they wield.
Point is, she can, with a punch, output energy similar to that of an atomic bomb.
She
Nothing
punched
is a struggle.
She punched
Nothing
a
is
tree
an
so
actual
hard, a nun gained amnesia. Oh, actually, that is something I hadn't noticed until I mentioned that, but, like, its portrayal of amnesia is pretty accurate, which is weird, but also true.
I'm gonna go to my notes here. Also, Dream Thief, I don't know if we mentioned this, but the episodes were released out of order just to mess with us.
Mm.
So they're
Episode 5, 6, 3, 8, 9, 10.
are all the last 6 episodes chronologically.
Not, it's just terrible. It's just terrible. Alright, so in episode 6, this was just a minor thing that I thought was very funny. When Sally and Carrot were out looking for carrots to buy for Frau,
Yes.
while they're talking, they passed like 6 stalls that are selling carrots with people behind them.
I didn't even notice.
Speaking of things that you don't notice, in Doki Doki Literature Club, after the first twist with Sayori's death, she is actually in a poster hanging in her room in the background on the far wall by the closet where the manga is kept.
That particular poster has it's rather low, but there is a chance that poster appears in a scene prior to the twist. Yeah, it happens on the Game Grumps. They did not notice. They did not notice. Neither
We
of them.
noticed.
We noticed.
We were looking
And
for it.
Dan noticed after the playthrough. Apparently he was like watching it back and saw that, and he was like, oh. Is it possible you didn't know that this was a horror game? That can't be. I told you right on the store page.
It technically does.
It does.
It does. It does.
Doesn't make it okay.
Yes, it does.
That's not how that works.
Everything about that game is perfectly okay.
Monica didn't do anything wrong.
Okay, shut up.
I mean, technically, the one she was deleting didn't feel anything. She was just damaging you for having to watch it.
No. No, deleting someone is apparently excruciatingly painful.
Beg to differ.
Monica says explicitly when you delete her that it hurts horribly.
Because she's the one that's sentient.
What does that have to do with the deletion process?
They aren't.
What does that have to do with the deletion process?
You're saying that they're not real.
Monica was the only
Well,
real one.
You're just...
Yeah. She's not real. I'm real.
The pain she was causing was to
They
the
are
OP.
all they are functionally identical. She just has a higher level of access. And that higher level of access transfers if she is not found in the game files. So it's nothing intrinsic to her, it is just a permission that she has.
How are you meant to get down the mountain from the iron mine? It's impossible. This is impossible.
Nothing's impossible, Mario. Only improbable.
It's not helped by all these stupid trees everywhere. I can't see anything.
Can't believe I got to
need
use
a
that
flint
line.
and steel. Light the whole place on fire. Granted, some of my bridges are made of wood, so that might not end too well.
Nothing's impossible, Mario. Only improbable. Thanks.
I don't know
Luigi.
what you're quoting.
It's from the Super Mario Brothers movie.
How are you supposed to climb up from there?
Well, that's. I'm glad I didn't know.
It's like towards the end of the movie, Mario's like saying, "We can't stop him. It's impossible." And then Luigi pipes in. Sorry, Luigi Mario pipes in because it's Mario and Luigi Mario.
Because they're the Mario brothers.
And Luigi pipes in and goes, "Nothing's impossible, Mario. Only improbable."
Doesn't make any sense.
But apparently that's like the whole moral of the movie.
Don't understand.
Anyway,
Let's see if anybody's posted their maps.
moving away from that train wreck. Moving away from that train wreck and back to this train wreck.
Nintendo moved away from that train wreck too.
And just like with the Philips CDI, much like Nintendo, I prefer to pretend it doesn't exist. Alright, so they pass a whole bunch of carrots looking for carrots. Carrot says something like a series of weird things, which makes me question, again, does she or does she not want her power back? Because she flip-flops on that a lot. And then we cut to the scene where the vampire's soul is watching his body be burned at the stake.
Yes.
And he's all like, seeing the humans now, I wonder, are they really any better than ogres? And I'm like, you have killed many people. Of course they're happy that you're gone.
Well, he acknowledges that.
No, he does not.
Yeah, he's like, apparently, I got caught in a few of my previous killings.
Yes. And then he proceeds to talk smack about how happy the humans are that the mass murderer is gone. And I'm just like...
Talking had smack for someone in crusading distance.
He's not in crusading distance, he's dead.
All I need is for some.
And then we cut to Mikoto walking through the forest and nearly killing the nun. And I didn't buy the whole amnesia thing because we haven't seen her in forever. And so I'm like, is this nun acting? If so, why? Followed immediately by amnesia. Are you kidding me? And then I timed it. That amnesia plot line lasted exactly 5 minutes.
It doesn't last very long, but it is a rather accurate portrayal of amnesia for film, since usually amnesia is caused by a blow to the head. In this case, it's caused by an extreme stress, and it's another extreme stress that releases it, which is pretty accurate to how it actually scientifically works.
Doesn't change the fact that it is a stupid plotline.
It was pretty dumb. Basically accurate
And
scientifically, but also really dumb to put into the story for no reason.
It didn't help anything because like it was there and gone in 5 minutes. And then the
Well, that's a problem resolved pretty fast.
super easy, barely an inconvenience. And then the ogre knight shows up.
You know what would have been neater? If we continued with the amnesia plotline and developed Mikoto's character to him realizing ogres aren't bad because of who they are, but because of how they were raised, because now the amnesic nun ogre is like a good person. See, then we would have had character development from like two
We can't
people.
have that. That's what good shows. We can't have that. We just have to make Mikoto just an incredibly inconsistent character. And this whole scene confuses me greatly.
Where she rips off her horn.
Okay, at that point, I have in my notes intense. Finally, it's like because something. Has
Imagine my
made me
confusion upon seeing this scene when I have watched episode 3 first. So I've watched it out of order, and she mentions that Mikoto rips off her horn, or took off her horn. So I was, all prepared for him to like step in and decide to leave this one alive as well, just like he did to the last one, and just take off her horn. But no, she like rips it off herself, and I'm like, wait, then why in episode 3 did you say that he did this? Because you did this.
I don't even have that inconsistency in here, but like, good on you for finding it.
Well, it stuck out to me because I watched episode 3 first.
Yeah, that'd do it. That'd do it.
Because I was all prepared for a scene,
So
and then
I
that
have
scene never happened because I watched it out of order.
Yeah. Bad writing. Bad release order. And then the knight and the nun posture at each other for a minute. And then she rips off her horn. Because, Mikoto was like, well, I just see two ogres here. I'm just gonna let you two kill each other and I'll take care of whoever's left. And I'm like, okay. We're back to murder hobo Mikoto. I'm not against it, but like, please stick with it this time.
Choose something.
Which really confuses me. Pick one. I don't care which one. Pick one. And which really confuses me because this is following his whole thing where I'm like, where he kind of sort of wanted cohabitation and he let the priest go for some reason. And then, like, she rips off her horn and is bleeding profusely, and she's like, there, now I'm human and you have to save me. And I immediately remembered the bit where he's like, I don't do this to save humans, I do this to kill ogres. And yet, in this moment, he is put in a position where he's having to choose between killing an ogre and saving a quote-unquote human now, and he chooses to save the human when he absolutely positively could have killed that ogre knight in like a quarter of a second.
And then save the human? Yes.
And then save the human. And so I have in all capital letters, you let him go. What is your deal?
To be fair, I had already watched episode 3, so I knew that was coming, but...
It's still stupid.
That sounds
sounds
very LGBTQIA plus. The idea that if you just take the horn off, your DNA magically changes and now you're a human.
Well, there is some question as to like what exactly an ogre is, and it seems to be that it really is just a kind of corrupted human in some cases. And that kind of jives with Japanese folklore, because anything can become an ogre.
Yes.
So it's like more of that horn is more of like a physical manifestation of a spiritual thing, kind of?
So in Oni mythology, an Oni is some being that has been corrupted by hatred. Whether it's own or other things, hatreds is like sometimes up for debate. They're rarely born, and very few Oni in Japanese folklore stop being Onis. But it does happen occasionally in Japanese folklore.
So it's not without precedent.
Yes. And it's not without precedent in the show, because Mikoto himself is a demon that stopped being a demon. Oni. Ripping off his own horn.
Oh, he never stopped. He never stopped being a demon.
No. He just focused all his hatred on other demons.
Anyway, and then I have the bit where, like, the nun wakes up all bandaged and whatnot. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna travel with you. It's gonna be great. Just the two of us girls. And I'm like, the gag wore thin 5 episodes ago. Please stop. Because Mikoto is a very effeminate-looking man.
Mm-hmm.
He has very long hair. And very little muscle mass of any kind. And so everyone assumes that it's a girl.
Even his own mother.
Just every episode. What?
I made a joke. I said even his own mother.
I was like, I don't recall that bit.
No, that was purely for comedic relief.
Right. So that's the end of episode 6, and then naturally the only place to go from here is episode 3. And this episode starts out with Hawthorne winning a sword fight. And so I have in here in my notes, it's a dream, I'm calling it now.
Why?
Followed by, I was wrong.
He's literally a knight.
Been shown to do anything.
But he's literally a knight.
Shown to do a
he
hasn't done a single thing in the whole show.
It was combat with another regular human being. Like, I would expect the knight to win. That wasn't, like, weirdly out of character or anything. Like, that makes sense.
It was out of character for him to be doing anything relevant to the story. And so I was like, oh, this is going to be like him asleep and pretending that he's, helping the party when he's not actually. And I was wrong. I will give the show credit for that, but I was 100% convinced of this. Then there's the bit a bit later where Mikoto is talking to the nun, who is apparently like capable of eating a lot, because that's a very common trope in anime, especially from someone recovering from being sick or injured.
Or if they're a small girl. Small girls eat way more than big buff dudes.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not paying that much attention, fellas.
I'm talking.
Okay. He just watched the show.
That's fine. Well,
Yeah, but I have notes of my complaints.
He needs to rant about it, which I understood because he did this last week. We had a 4-hour podcast last week where he spent 2 hours of it ranting at me about this anime. So I thought we would get it out of the way.
It's bad, and I hate it.
Understood.
They used the line again, what's more important, money or me? And my answer both times was money. But I have a sub point where it's like, where does this man even get money? Like, I physically do not understand where he gets money.
I presume from rewards from towns that give him money for saving them from ogres.
Yeah, but like we've never seen that happen. And he doesn't usually socialize with people. He usually just shows up, kills ogres, and walks away.
Maybe the ogres were carrying money.
That doesn't make sense. Why would the ogres be participating in human commerce?
Well, maybe they were
money in D&D.
Maybe they were just carrying gold around, and so he just takes the gold and where they've got jewelry or something.
Stop trying to write the show for it.
Listen.
And then
I agree that there's a lot of dumb writing choices. I'm not going to hit on the show just to hit on the show. I don't think it's like that weird to assume that there's something of value on an ogre every now and again.
Okay, I might be working a bit hard for that one. I will grant you. Next note is in regards to the fact that it's like, oh, are you entering the martial arts tournament? And I write down, poor Hawthorne, he can't catch a break. Because if, Mikoto is entering the martial arts tournament, Hawthorne is just dead. And then he's like, no, not me. And then it cuts to, like, the little 12-year-old looking nun just beating the crap out of a dude with a single punch. To which I responded, shouldn't she be weak now because of the loss of her horn? Like Carrot was? Because Carrot was shown to have lost, like, all of her strength.
Yes.
And this one, like, nearly died as a result of losing her horn. And is still superhumanly powerful.
Counterpoint, Carrot didn't lose all of her magical abilities. She lost all of her ogre. She lost all of her ogre-related abilities, but not all of her magical abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So the show could have rectified this if it had said that she was using a strength spell or something. Like, she still has...
You know what we call that, comrade?
That's called writing the show for itself. Yeah, I know. Listen, I might not be a writer, but apparently I can write this show better.
I could write this show better. And then we're introduced to this, like, the god of masks is referred to as the Kishin. She's like 5, if that. I find that annoying.
I wanted to look up the origins of Kishin, but I think it's similar to Kirin. But I need to look up etymology and stuff.
I don't know. They use the same term in Soul Eater. I know that. And then they have, like, the... One thing that I actually really liked was the 100 Ogre meeting thing that they did.
Mm-hmm.
That is based off of a thing called the March of 100 Demons.
Uh-huh.
And I counted. There are actually 100 ogres there.
Hey, they did something good.
Yeah. Followed immediately by this. The priest man shows an infographic, because they have those now, about the loss of ogre territory and the corresponding population decline. And apparently Mikoto is just super, super efficient. He cut the ogre population in half. And, you know, I wouldn't have such terrible feelings about this if it weren't for the fact that Sally, who is arguably more powerful than he is, they want to live. And they expressly forbade attacking her. So whoever's at the top apparently wants ogres to go extinct. And then the small sassy child of this anime shows up. Todoroki.
Don't worry, he's not important.
He shouldn't be.
Well, he's not. He's dead.
Confidently declares that he's going to kill the Peach Boy, which you can't. Nothing can.
All right, I'm gonna have
Peach
to watch
Boy.
somebody build up. I'm gonna be muted or deafened here for a while. I can't
Okay.
figure it out on my own.
Okay.
Alright. Nothing can kill the Peach Boy. The Peach Boy's already dead. Presumably he's talking about Mikoto. And nothing can kill him either. Except, you know, probably Sally at some point.
He's got the power of God and anime on his side.
Yeah, but he does not have the power of Mary Sue, which is stronger than both of those, apparently. Because the show is decided.
Did it decided?
Mm-hmm. And then, the 5-year-old looking demon lord is just wandering about in the city. Walks right up to one of the main characters, Hawthorne, who's actually having an impact on the plot for once. And is like, hey, you, pick me up. I'm like, this is eerie. This is weird. I don't like this. Then she does something stupid, said something about, like, it's like, will you be my friend? I give great powers and benefits to my friends. And then he flicked her on the forehead. Like, did you just flick a demon lord?
Yes, when I first saw that, I was like, is he about to die?
I thought he was 100% about to get unalived, like, on the spot.
Yes.
And then just now. And then I don't know where this comment came from. Like, what scene exactly. But, I wrote, this is the most cartoonish racism ever. Which is probably just a good description of the show in general. Followed by someone saying it was Carrot who said something snarky to Sally, and she said, "Where is this coming from?" And I remember being like, "It's been there for like the entire series. She hates humans. She's admitted that. She's killed a bunch of them. You conveniently forgot, but I didn't. Seriously."
And somehow, the show writers didn't either.
Apparently. And then in episode 8, there's this bit where, like, Sally's running after Mikoto and like trying to talk with him and etc. etc. And it's like, I really wish that we could travel together. And I wrote down, why do you even like him? He stands for literally everything you stand against. He is literally the paragon of what you are trying to stop. And just doesn't, for whatever reason. I have, is this a retcon? Which I'm assuming is in reference to something Mikoto says or does. It's been a minute. But he continues to be very inconsistent. And then they do that thing where it's like, take my hand. No, take my hand. And I'm like,
what she should do is walk through both of your hands, because she doesn't agree with this guy, and she can't trust the weird smiling priest dude. So, yeah, what she ought to do is just say, listen,
if either of you want to work with me, that's fine. But I'm not working with either of you. Because both of their stated goals are just well, not both of their stated goals, but both of their goals are very wildly out of her philosophy.
yes. But instead we take the weirdest way out and have her choose Mikoto's hand.
She chooses Mikoto, whose, again, stated goal is kill all ogres. Again, he's wildly inconsistent about this, for no given reason. But that's his stated goal, and he sticks to it when the plot decides that he was going to stick to it. Then I have in here why child, which is presumably in reference to like the sleeping ogre that they bring along for some reason, like the eagle and the stretchy arm guy and Todoroki and the sleeping child ogre.
Yes.
Just like, why is this sleeping child here? It's explained later, plot convenience, but you know,
he just sort of sleepily watches his friend get killed. Great friendship, 10 out of 10.
He doesn't watch he doesn't watch anything. He's just asleep outside of the city.
Yeah, but like in episode 10, which is the final episode out of the 12.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know why he's still here, but yeah.
Todoroki is killed right in front of the dude who is supposedly his friend.
Yep.
And he doesn't do anything. He doesn't even flinch. He just sort of sleepily looks at it and gets a little bit sad.
Yeah. And then Barsis. I knew Barsis was going to die like the second Barsis introduced himself. He exists solely to be killed.
It's just
For
sad,
character
but true.
development. So I have in my notes, Barsis got fridged. Because that's the term for when a character exists solely to die for character development. Is they've been fridged.
So sad.
Yeah. Hawthorne, I also have in here, Hawthorne just can't catch a break. Because he can't.
He did get an extra powerful magic sword, but it's probably going to be taken away from him.
Later.
What?
That comes later. That comes later, and I have issues with that too.
So, I will say this. Giving the human dude a sword that lets him at least use skill against impossibly strong things is a great writing technique that lets you, you know, move a little bit away from the overpowered characters and move towards a character that's more relatable. But I figure we're never going to use that as that kind of rating device or anything.
Well, see, the thing is, Hawthorne is never like given any kind of screen time or let be a human. He's just there in the background. He gets over PTSD in like a quarter of a second. He is the least human out of all of the humans. He's just generic knight background character.
True.
And
My man was done dirty. I think he could have been an amazing character. And giving him a sword that lets him fight ogres on equal footing as like an equal, where it's like his skill versus their power, that's good. But it's also like bad because we're not going to use it that way. I already know we're not going to use it that way.
See, there's a thing, and it would make a lot more sense if the item that he was given was a defensive item rather than an offensive item. And I think the Wheel of Time, as much as I give it crap too, does this really well. There is a certain character who routinely has to deal with magic users. And magic users in the Wheel of Time are like the most overpowered thing on the face of the planet. There's literally a magic that if it touches you, erases you from existence. And depending on how strong it's used on you, your existence is literally retconned from time. Like, if a strong enough beam hits you, everything that you did for like the past month, it's as if that didn't happen. And so he has to deal with magic users all the time, and he absolutely hates it. And at a certain point in the story, he's given...
You cut out. What's he given?
What? He's given a magic item that negates offensive magic directed at him. And so now when he fights magic users, they can't just like wave their hands and unalive him. They actually have to fight him. And so it's his ability with weapons against their ability with weapons. And they can't just kind of hand wave kill him. And that's interesting to me.
Yes.
Because it levels the playing field. If they just gave him a gun that could
the sword
one-shot anything.
The sword as it's introduced, when it's first introduced, before you see what it does, it's presented as a sword that can cut through magic. Or it says it can cut through anything. Not that it like sends out bursts of air that cut through anything, but that's the sword itself can cut through anything. Which puts him on equal footing with the ogres, because now he can like cut through their energy blast and whatnot. And so if it was just that, if it was just a sword with no range, but it can cut through anything, and so he can use it both defensively and offensively like a normal sword, that would be cool and interesting to give a character who we've never been able to see like his combat prowess, because like he can't do anything to ogres. And now we've given him the ability to use his skill with a fancy weapon that lets him like actually cut things.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this. I think that would be bad anyway. Because it wouldn't solve the core problem.
Which is that the ogres are too strong?
The ogres could kill him at will if they were in any way intelligent about it. And they should be able to kill him at will even still with the sword. Because, and I have this in my notes too, even with a magic sword that can cut through anything, he would still be beholden to the laws of human physicality.
Right.
So his reaction time should still be beholden to, that, like, what is it, like 100 milliseconds in between, 150 versus 150 for audio cues, 180 for visual cues, to begin responding to a threat.
Well, that's where night training comes in, because you're supposed to.
Lightning moves at 270,000 miles an hour. And it is approximately 30,000 degrees Celsius.
I understand what you're getting at.
He wouldn't be able to blink in between the time that the lightning would start from Todoroki's hand to the point where his heart stopped. Add to that the fact that certain ogres seem to be able to teleport. It just wouldn't be possible for a human to react to that. And I get that it's anime, but he has been shown to be basically equivalent to a human.
I was going to point out that when you're in combat, you're kind of supposed to predict how people move rather than look for people to move.
So explain to me why we don't have people that can dodge gunfire, because I know exactly where the bullet is going to be. Problem is, doesn't matter, still got shot.
Well, see, it obviously doesn't work at high enough speeds, but...
And lightning moves several times faster than bullets.
Yes.
And bullets are far away beyond our human reaction capabilities.
I understand he should have died to Todoroki, but most ogres he could now fight on an equal footing because, they're like other moves besides Todoroki's like normal speeds. Even the laser blast, it like takes time to wind it up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like you can predict that and then slice through it with like the fancy new sword. But yes.
Or even just hold it out in front of you and wait for it to hit.
Yes.
But you can't do that with lightning that can come from multiple directions. He should have died, and yet Wizard Ex Machina shows up and just decides.
Wizard Ex Machina. Happening to you since Tolkien.
Oh, Anyway, we also have... Oh yeah, keep in mind, he was keeping up with Todoroki to a point before he got the sword. By, like, running away, and he recognized lightning was coming, so he threw his metal sword up in the air.
Yes.
He should not have been able to run away in that context. It shouldn't have been physically possible. It wasn't as if he was, like, half a foot from the alley and could just dart around the corner. He had to walk. He had to run, like, a good 20 feet. In the time it would take him to cross that distance, he should have been hit in the back about 37 times.
Well, see, but
no,
you don't know...
Because it's not sporting to hit people in the back.
Todoroki... Todoroki may have to take a bit of time to charge up the attack. So, like, there are some unknowns that we don't know about that.
Quit writing the show for it.
I'm just pointing out, like, every time he does, like, use the lightning, he does charge up a little bit. Like, it's not like he just flicks his wrist and lightning comes out.
But he does. When he doesn't have that thing covering his horn, he is constantly zapping things around him. That's the point of the thing on his horn.
Also,
So your argument is invalid.
well, yeah, but like he starts the fight, which is when the guy runs away, or Hawthorne runs away, with the thing on his head. That's stated directly to be a limiter to his power. So yes, Hawthorne should be dead once that comes off. But I don't know. I thought the running away part at least was reasonable.
Agree to disagree. Then Mikoto, or whatever, runs up to the sleep guy and just drops out, because the eyes that he has have never been shown to be capable of resisting or negating demonic powers before. That's never been established. So he's knocked out of the plot for no good reason.
Yes.
The wizard shows up.
Well, I guess that means that the dream thing isn't an ogre power, which is weird.
Or
the
writing is bad.
So either that's not an ogre power, or the writing sucks. I mean, it's a toss-up. I'll be fair. The writing does suck.
The wizard teleports in, and I forget exactly what the wizard does. I think she either deflects a cannon or something. But that brings up the question: if she was that strong, why did she seal the ogre in the tree instead of just taking it out when it was a threat?
Maybe
Is it because she knew in a few decades that someone would come and end racism?
End racism,
Or was it because they wanted their dramatic?
That's very
Your thing went.
inconvenient. We're gonna end racism through the power of that's inconvenient.
We'll get to that line in a minute.
We did it, boys. Racism is no more.
It really does. If you really wanted to make an anime about ending racism and racial prejudice and all of that in the fantasy world, I'm all for that. Go for it. That's probably gonna be pretty cool. But don't make it the most cartoonish, surface level stupid. Because it's always I hate them. Why? Because. Have they ever done anything to you? No. They done anything to anyone that you know? No. Done anything bad that you've heard about? No. So why do you hate them? Because I hate them.
They done decided to exist. That's all the reason I need.
The great crime of their existence. And then when it's legitimately justified that you hate this person because of the things that they've done, it's always looked at as
that's
look at
inconvenient.
those racists. But I'm referring to the bit for the vampire, where the vampire is looking at these humans, it's hard to imagine that they're better than the ogres. And I went, you were a mass murderer. Of course they're happy you're dead. I'm happy that you're dead. That is a very logical reaction. And yet it's framed by the vampire in such a way where it's just clear evidence of racism. Not so, my dude. Not so. Then we have the notes on episode 9, which of course is the best episode, which starts off with, "Who are you and why should I care?" followed immediately by, I like this show a lot better. The only thing that I have about this episode that I don't like is Momotaro's decision to make Mikoto hate him for no reason.
Yes.
It smacks very much of Itachi trying to make Sasuke hate him. But, like, even that made more sense.
Management wants you to find the difference between these two pictures.
No, because, like, Itachi trying to make Sasuke hate him was there for a purpose. And the purpose was to deflect that hatred again away from the Leaf Village. Because if Sasuke knew the truth, he would hate the Leaf Village and want to destroy the Leaf Village. Which, you know, Itachi did this for. Because that's the twist, is that this was organized by the Hokage because of the planned insurrection at the Uchihas.
Third Hokage, man, he's a great guy. Love him.
In fairness, the Uchihas were planning to slaughter the entire village. So...
Yeah, but I saw the way they, treated Naruto for no good reason, so most of them probably deserved it.
I think that is a flimsy argument, but I see your... Because it's a bit more like... Remember that demon that, like, destroyed our village every so often? Killed a whole bunch of us? That's inside that kid right there. Maybe we should stay away from the demon child. I'm not saying it's justified. I'm saying it's not entirely without its logic.
You think I want your applause? I've seen what... You think I hate your booing? I've seen what makes you applause.
Your boo's meaningless. I've seen what makes you cheer. But, so, like, I don't understand why he decides that Mikoto needs to hate him. But he just does. For some reason. And, sure, fair, fine. And so that's episode 9. All in all, I think it is hands down the best episode of the show.
Yes.
Because, like, everything that happens feels real. And like, the hatred of ogres is not necessarily justified, but it makes sense. It's like, the kid's done nothing wrong, but, like, in very, very recent memory, ogres have killed and eaten people.
Yes.
So, it's not justified, but it is reasonably explained within the lore of the world.
Yes.
And so it makes sense.
And
it's also shown that there's nuance to this,
and it shows that the original Peach Boy did not do what he did because he hates ogres, but because ogres were killing people.
Yes.
And so when he's presented with two ogres who, as far as he is concerned, are good people, and he treats them both like people. Right?
I mean, we even see this when he has that duel on the island with the ogre chieftain.
Yes, he lets him
he
live.
Didn't kill the ogre chieftain. He made a deal with him. He's like, "We're gonna fight, and if I win, you'll take your people away from the humans."
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't do this out of like hatred or racism or anything. It's literally to protect people, which is a good motivation.
Right. And it does nicely explain why Mikoto really hates ogres.
But it doesn't, though. Because Momotaro tried very hard to make Mikoto hate him. And to some extent, it appears as if it worked. And then all of a sudden, it's just like a switch is flipped. And Mikoto just decides, I actually really love that guy. Why? I don't know. And then he proceeds to be an absolute Chad and one-shot a higher demon.
A Kishin?
I think it was. It might have just been a high ogre. But, it was something that Momotaro couldn't fight. And then he just casually one-shots it. Best episode of the show. Best episode.
Yes.
Followed immediately by some of the worst bits of the show. We cut back to Hawthorne with the magic sword.
Yes.
And I have it in here. Magic sword or not, he has human reaction times. See lightning above. It's like he shouldn't be able to dodge any of this or cut through it. He should just be dead. But no. Also, did we talk about the fact that, like, Hawthorne, it's up there in my notes, but I think I skipped over it. Hawthorne, by hiding around a corner with a wooden sword, knocked down a high ogre.
That was pretty funny. Realistic? No. Funny? Absolutely. It was really hilarious.
What tone is this show going for? Because, like, that was very clearly supposed to be a comedic moment. We're not supposed to take this seriously. We've seen what Frau can do, and when she kicked a medium ogre, nothing happened. Like, he literally just shrugged it off. But Hawthorne, an ordinary human, and not a demon hairfolk Nephilim thing, hits him with a wooden sword and just knocks him down with one shot, and presumably knocked him out because he stayed down there for a minute. Not like an actual minute, but something like 20 seconds. So it wasn't even like he just tripped.
It's
like that apparently did damage of some kind.
It's what's that show called? Now I'm not gonna remember what it's called. Kill la Kill. It's very Kill la Kill logic, where less is more. So having a wooden sword makes Hawthorne more powerful.
Shut up. If we were going off of Kill la Kill logic, he should have been in his tidy whities.
Man thong.
Oh my gosh. Why did you say that? That's in my brain now. Yeah.
You're welcome.
So then we're introduced to the stretch ogre.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a nice heart to heart with Carrot.
Followed
and
immediately.
It's like, yeah, it's good to see you. Anyway, I gotta kill you.
Followed immediately by attempted murder. And Carrot's repeatedly being bashed in the head with, your people aren't good people, and now they hate you because you're different now.
Yeah. But Carrot only cares about racism when it's racism against someone that she likes.
Including herself.
Anyway. Apparently. And then they kind of have a fight, quote unquote.
Yes.
It's more of a one-sided domination followed immediately by stupid.
If you're up against a wall, you can't stretch your body no more. Oh my goodness, you're right. Why did I?
It was if your back is against a wall, you can't absorb the impact by stretching. I'm like, yes, that is logical. Except, and hear me out on this, he can stretch his arm so that he's not against the wall anymore. Like, even if his hand is completely stuck, which I don't buy, if he can make himself super stretchy and malleable, he should be able to just go and pull his hand out of there. But we're ignoring logic here. So assuming he can't do that for plot contrivance reasons, he could make his arms stretchy and jump to the side. Or even forward, I don't care. And then he would be able to do this. So he died because he's stupid. Or plot convenience.
One of the two.
Probably a combination of the both. And you know, the priest is weird again, and I'm questioning what on earth he is. And then I am baffled at the fact that Thorn let Todoroki live. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, not only are you capable of using this magic sword, which you've never used before, but you are so good at regulating its power that you are able to use lethal force and fight for your life. No. No, you can't.
Yeah, when I first saw that, I was like, oh, so, like, the sword has extra reach, but, like, not that much extra reach? And then he just outright states I could have killed him with that. I was like, oh.
But that doesn't make any sense. First of all, in that mental state, it would have made a lot more sense for him to have actually killed him. And, you know, then that could lead to some interesting conflict between him and Sally.
Yes.
But then, like, no, he apparently such a mastery over magic items that he has never seen or used before, that he is able to use non-lethal force in a fight of his life.
Also, is Frau gonna want the sword
Cool.
back?
Probably not. I don't really care. And so I have in my notes, just, did you let him live? And then Sally drops the, that's inconvenient line, and I have to write here, do you just not care when people die?
Yeah.
Is she just completely indifferent to the death of humans? Such a terribly written character.
Like I said, when I first saw, like, the cut on Todoroki, I was like, ah, neat. Like, the sword's got extra reach, but, like, not that much extra reach. Cool, I guess. Interesting to note. And then he's just outright like, I could have killed him with this. It's like, oh, you mean he was purposefully not lethal?
which, one, doesn't make any sense given his motivation, and two, doesn't make any sense as to how he would be able to use that.
It would have made a little bit of sense if Hawthorne realized, oh, he's not dead yet, and then it was like, I'll let Sally talk to him. But not trying to kill him intentionally from the get-go is a bit weird.
Yeah. Then Mikoto has like this terrifying laughing fit, I believe. I was like, oh, he's completely lost it. That goes absolutely nowhere. And then they start talking about like Todoroki and the people that he's killed, and like how difficult it is for Hawthorne to move past that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Theo's so famous line. That's inconvenient.
Yeah, Sally. A person tried to murder me. I don't appreciate that. That is inconvenient for you. But they bring up how many people Todoroki has killed, and I'm just like, yeah, I mean, so is Carrot, but we're just gonna hand wave that, aren't we? Actually, my exact words. So has Carrot, but we've all decided to ignore that. And then they're just decide to let him go. Just back loose on the world.
Nobody who cares has heard her admit to killing a bunch of people. Because she's only admitted it to Sally and Froy. And neither of them are caring.
I mean, Hawthorne has to know.
Probably.
It's either that or his IQ is literally measured in single digits. Which is possible. And so, I have Todoroki's killed scores of people, but no one cares. And then the priest just, like, one-shots him? And I was like, he's dead now? Question mark?
And that's where the season ends.
That was such a weird thing to end on, because like him being alive was a point of a little bit of contention between the main characters, and then the priest, for whatever reason, just kills him. I mean, it probably makes sense for the priest to want to do that, because Todoroki knows that the priest is willing to lie just blatantly to get what he wants. And so it's probably in the priest's best interest to kill Todoroki, but we went through so many hoops to, like, keep Todoroki alive. I thought that there was something to that. And then there's just not something to that. All in all, out of 10, what would you give this series? So far. Or this season, rather, because everyone knows that people love to give terrible anime a second season.
6.5.
Wow, you are generous.
It's entertaining, but not good.
In the same way that a car crash compilation is entertaining.
It doesn't make me rip my hair off.
I stayed up for hours writing 4 pages of notes on just the back half of the series. What do you think I would give it out of 10?
Probably a 4.
See, actually, that's exactly what I would give it out of 10. It's
Well,
kind of eerie that you knew that. Do you want to know where those 4 points came from?
Episode 9.
Episode 9, yeah. That's not entirely fair. There was some stuff in the rest of the season that I did appreciate. I like how I wish they were more consistent with it, but I really did like Mikoto's character for a bit there. It was a very simple motivation. Like, I kill ogres. That's what I do. And I'm really good at it, and I really enjoy doing it. And I thought that served as a nice counterpoint to Sally, who is accepting to a fault. I appreciated that. Again, I wish they stuck more to it, but that was good. There were a few moments with Carrot that I thought were pretty good, where she starts to realize that, like, you know, as bad as humans can be, her own people are not blameless either, which should have been very, very obvious. And she was just blatantly a hypocrite. But, you know, they could have handled that better. I liked the idea they were going for, but they could have handled that a lot better. One character I really did enjoy was, what was her name? Adalia or something like that? The angel?
Mm-hmm.
She was nice. Probably because, you know, she had like 4 lines. Didn't have time to say anything stupid. And there were a few good jokes. Again, I don't really understand why they tried to make jokes so often. The series seemed very confused in terms of tone. Did it give you that impression at all?
Maybe a little bit, but it's not as confused as some other series in its tone.
Black Devil is a part-timer?
I need to take out a dog. And also, we've been streaming for 3 hours, so we're going to go ahead and call it here. Thanks for listening to us rant about this anime for the last 2 hours, I guess. And
I've finally gotten that off my chest. I feel better.
we'll see you next time. The only thing I'm going to do on Minecraft is just get all this stuff moved back to my manor. We'll pick up wherever that is next week. Can you stop dying?